First at 5 o'clock, the Texas Supreme Court heard arguments today in a gun sale lawsuit. It's tied to the 2017 mass shooting in the South Texas town of Sutherland Springs.
56 survivors and family members of victims who died are suing Academy Sports and Outdoors. They claim it was negligent in selling the gun used in the shooting. Academy's attorney argues the business is protected by federal law. KXAN's Maggie Glynn has details.
Sometimes when there's a traumatic event, there's an attempt to place responsibility on those who are not responsible. Academy is not responsible here. The shooter is Devin Kelly.
Devin Kelly bought an assault rifle in Texas that was packaged with a 30-round magazine, a capacity that's illegal in Colorado, where his ID listed his residence.
Congress has defined firearms to exclude magazines.
Academy's main point of defense hinges on the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, or PLACA. It protects firearms manufacturers and dealers from being held liable when crimes have been committed with their products.
He bought the rifle and the 30-round magazine that was in the same box, packaged that way by the manufacturer, not by Academy.
The victim's attorney argues removing liability doesn't amount to immunity. He argues even without the magazine of ammo, the sale of the gun itself was not lawful, taking the protection of PLACA off the table.
Academy's predicate offense for purposes of PLACA was selling the Ruger Model 8500 to Mr. Kelly after he presented as a resident of Colorado, a state in which that gun isn't and cannot be sold.
And he points to another store's action as evidence.
At least one other Texas retailer refused to sell Kelly the exact same weapon only after he presented his Colorado ID.
Maggie Glynn, KXAN News.
Each victim is seeking $1 million in damages. They say they hope to force Academy to stop selling high-capacity assault rifles to visitors from states that ban them. The Supreme Court justices didn't indicate when they'll make a decision in the case.
The Sutherland Springs shooting is one of many our investigative team examined in our series called A History of Mass Violence. Our team worked with the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training Program at Texas State University to compile data collected on 316 mass attacks in the U.S. since the year 2000. The goal was to scrutinize the way that shooters have been stopped in those attacks. Citizens stopped shooters 50 times, but in only 10 out of those 50 did a citizen actually use a gun. In the other 40, it was with their hands or another weapon. A History of Mass Violence takes a critical look at the violent history in Texas as leaders debate how to prevent future tragedies. You can watch more on this at our website, kxan.com.